Good evening, everyone. Good evening, people. I think let's kick off. Thank you so much for joining us. This is our last meeting for this year, so it's so exciting to see you all. And if you're joining us for the first time, a special welcome to you. And I want to thank everyone who are joining in room, in person, as well watching us online. Thank you so much for coming along. So just before we kick off, let's do some housekeeping rules. Let me quickly walk through. Sorry, there's a flicker. I'll get the flicker. Thank you. So as you know, this is streamed online on Facebook at the moment, but I've been telling you for a few months now we're going to migrate, but 2026 our first meeting will be in YouTube. So please do subscribe for our YouTube channel. Because of Facebook restrictions, we won't be able to continue to do it. So we are moving to YouTube, but we will share the link on Facebook as well. But please note that. And if you're not subscribed to any of our newsletters, please feel free to do so. And it does help you get involved. Also, you get to know what's happening around Gungahlin. So tonight, we're going to have a few items. Hopefully, I'm not going to take much of your time. Sorry, just can you connect this one? Okay. Yeah, we just need to connect the... See, it's not connected. Cable to the... Yeah, it's inside the box. Yeah. Apologize. So we're going to have our AGM. To start with, we will have the updates of what we've been doing for this year. I will talk through you, and then we're going to have the AGM, and then we're going to MLA updates for this year. And then we will go to the Gungahlin Community Carols group as well. So my name is, if you're new, my name is Henry Samuel. I'm the president of Gungahlin Community Council. With me tonight, we have Vice President Lalitsa, we have Secretary Shah, we have Treasurer Michael, and then all the executive members, Darren and Mithun as well, and Shah. So thank you for everyone for coming along, and we do have Andrew Braddock, MLA, in the room as well. So thank you so much for coming along. So we want to just quickly see the report of what's happening for this year. I'll just quickly run through this one. Sorry, Shah, you might want to use this. Yeah. Okay. So if you're new to Gungahlin or new to our forum, some of you probably know Gungahlin Community Council is dedicated, to preserving improving the social, cultural, economic of well-being of Gungahlin. So this is what we do. It's a non-political forum. So we provide a neutral platform for our residents to get connected with the government, also other way around as well. So it's a great place for the business. It's a great place for the residents to come along, share their ideas. We work, collaborate with government and achieve great results. That's what we're aiming to do. As you see, GCC ensures the community needs and expectations are communicated to the policymakers effectively. Our job is to communicate, but it's up to the officials to action or not. But we do, try to do our best. And commitment to inclusivity and engagement. We are very transparent and inclusive, and collaboration-wise, we do. Collaborate with different organizations and different departments in the government as well, and make sure we are connected and engaged with the community so we can achieve the results that we want to achieve. And as you can see, the vision, GCC envisions a vibrant Gungahlin balancing growth, sustainability, diversity, and equal opportunity. So that's what for the people who are new, just sort of giving you what we actually do. Other than that, we do take a lot of phone calls. We are kind of a mini Access Canberra, especially for the people who move from interstate. Can you fix my bin? Can you do this? And can you do that? Unfortunately, we can't do any of those things. We are a voluntary organisation. We don't get paid, or we don't have access to any of the ACT government systems. So, we are kind of a proxy for Access Canberra, and we need to tell most of them to go to Access Canberra. But I think it's in a good way. People wants to engage with the community, engage with the council, which is good. But just the difference is we are different from other states and territory. So this year, the key highlights. We did multiple forums. Election forum. Is any of you remember those election forums? We had the ACT election forum. We had the hosted the federal election forum. We had all the members, and we gave an opportunity for everyone to come along and make sure the time got utilized in a way that people can ask questions, and it was like a Q&A kind of a thing. So it was great, and we tried to do all those things as well. So which was one of the few highlights that I could say. And this year, in the beginning, we had a lot of engagement with police and the ministers of police and the shadow minister of police. As you all know, there's so many issues happening around Gungahlin, around the safety concern and burglary and theft and all those things were happening. So we actually did a forum with the ACT minister, Marisa Patterson, and also we had the shadow minister for police, Deborah Morris, to bring along and to understand what's happening around the region. And we also had the police, ACT inspector, police inspector Nigel Booth from ACT Policing. So he was here and he was producing all those stats and stuff. So we continue to work with them to make sure that the community is safe and secure, and how we can avoid these things. So we did that, and but I'm not sure whether how in terms of the improvements being, but we are looking forward for a more policing presence in Gungahlin, and also to see what's the root cause. You always need to talk about the root cause without the root, knowing what's the actual problem. It's really hard to find the solution. So there are a couple of things that we could look into it, and that's what we recommended. It could be the legalization of the illegal drugs. That could be the major thing, and I think that was one of the key things as well. In the broken families and all those things, how government can support these things, how we can do kind of preventive measures, how we can engage the youth, to do these kind of things. So there are so many things we need to look into it, and other thing as well as that's a kind of an obvious one. We also need to increase the police presence. So we had those forums as well, and a lot of community engagement as well. We did. For people who've been following us, we've been very vocal on Facebook and social media. And on the, all of the public meetings are available on the social media as well. So since COVID, we started doing hybrid participation. So which means we do online as well as, face-to-face. So you are here in the room for face-to-face, and I know most of us are watching online as well. So our social media, our presence is really good. Some of the meetings, it's gone like more 500 views within a couple of hours. So that means not just few, like 20 or 30 people watching in the room, but there is a big segment they are watching online as well. And we are also very transparent with an approach, and our informations are updated in the websites as well. So this is how we've been engaging online as well. And so one of the things we did was great community engagement. Good example for it would be our survey, which we did this year. which is one of the key thing. And I think every 4 years or 5 years we try to do this survey, because most of the times when you engage with the government officials, they would ask, hey, how do you know? Where is the data coming? So we want to give a informed, we want the government and the officials to make the informed decisions by providing this data. Technically these are some of the things that the government or the respective authorities need to do, but we're happy to mitigate and work along with the community. And we did this one, and so we did this through media release, we did social media posts, public meetings. So the survey was one of the key successful things. We had more than 1,300 people who registered on the survey, which was great. And the data was really good. The quality of the data and the questions, it was great. So we were able to, consolidate in those questions. And we also met Andrew Lee few weeks back to bring it along to his table to showcase what the community needed, how they need to look into the policies and all for considerations and all those things. So it's great to show these evidence to the politicians and the decision makers so they can make the informed decisions. And we also send the copy out to all the MLAs in the Arabi to let them know what's the community feedback and all those things. So, which is great. And we will continue to advocate for these ones in the future as well, because we have the quality data, and this will should be used as a in policy making and other government key things as well. The future outlook, what we are planning to do the next year. Is some of the, they influence the community, influence the government officials based on those survey that we did. So the government would make those policies. So we will try to mitigate with those ministers and work along with them to how to bring them as a policy in the government. So we will do that. And then the one thing we want to do is the business forum, which we've been talking about this year, but we couldn't, it's in the planning. So I think the planning phase is kind of almost drafted, so we can try to execute it as part of the next year. So we are planning to establish a business forum to engage with the local leaders, and we want to find out how we can bring that economic boom in Gungahlin, because Gungahlin, as you all know, like exodus happen every day in the morning, and people comes back, and so we want to see Gungahlin as the Silicon City of Australia. That's my vision for Gungahlin anyway. So I want to bring more jobs. How do we bring more jobs? So we want to bring this business forum development, make sure these business people are connected, and how we can help them, how the government can help them. So I think these forums would be great. So that's what we want to plan. And we also bring the stakeholders, continue to bring the stakeholders from the government, from ACT government as well as federal government, to engage with the community. So if you want to discuss any topic or anything that you are concerned, please come and come to the meeting, or maybe put a comment on the Facebook. What topic you want to discuss, so we can actually line up for one of our public meetings. So, and also with an MLA. So, we have our local MLAs, which is great. We want to keep them, engaged as well, to bring them along with the forum. And some of us, some of the MLAs are coming along, which is great. But we want to make sure that all the MLAs participate in this forum, so that we can have that collaboration with the community. And then we want to continue to work with the ACT Police to create a safer and more secure environment. So that's another thing, because it's ongoing. Like every month we get a media call, like, can you do an interview? This something happened, right? And not just those ones. You might see a lot of social media posts as well about those burglary and stuff. So we don't want that kind of activity in our community. We want our community to be safer, stronger, and it's kind of I want to see the community grows in unity. So that's what we want to work along. So we want to bring that policing presence. At some stage they said they're going to increase the number of police in Gungahlin, so we want to find out how that's progressing as well. And supporting, local community events. So that's one of the things that we want to work. And this year, we are working together on that one. So I want to talk about it a bit later because we do have a speaker related to that. But basically we want to collaborate with the local communities, to make them to plan and organize community events, in Gungahlin. So it would be great for families to come along. It's great for the kids, it's great for the youth, so they all can come together and have the time of celebration. So we want to focus on that as well. So also I want to, I've got a dedicated page for acknowledgement as well. But before I do that, we did a lot of other things as well. What I want to, we highlighted was a few, but in a lot of media, we do attend a lot of media releases and media interviews and stuff. So thanks to the team, they also helped me in doing all those things. So it's great. We were able to engage with the media and stuff. So as we planned what we want to do next year, if you have any ideas, just feel free to bring along. So many things are happening, and it's a commitment of all the volunteers. So I want to talk about our volunteers who work tirelessly, in the GCC. So I want to acknowledge everyone. So, thank you to you all the executive members. So it's great. I know you all have families and all those things, but you dedicate and you time and again you participate. So which is a great thing. Without you guys, it's not possible. And we want to, thanks all the residents and who have participated in any of the forum or any of the things that we have done, especially with the survey. I want to thank you as well. And all the MLAs who supported, participated in this forum, we want to thank as well. And Andrew, special thanks to you because I've seen you often than others, so which is great. So we would like to continue to see that and see more MLAs attending this meeting as well. So we want to, together, I want to move forward towards the progress and prosperity by working collaboratively. So this is what we want to achieve, and hope that's we will be able to achieve, and we can again at the end of next year we should be able to see what we have done. Cool. So before I think the AGM progress, because we are doing an update, I want to do some of the key updates because some of the things I didn't cover. We worked on so many things, and now it's all in progress and work is happening around Gungahlin. So some of the things that we worked in with the government or raised the issue with the government, that's all happening at the moment. So thanks to Susan Orr and Michael Patterson, MLAs, for sending us. So these are the things happening this year, and we can probably say these are some of the initiatives happen in this forum. So some of these things are happening at least in the planning or those kind of things, but it's great because our voice being heard. So this is why I was saying, this community, whatever the things that we are raising, people are listening and actioning it. So some of the things they worked this year, the Gungahlin Community Centre construction is underway. Has anyone seen that happening around? Yeah. So which is great. So we've been asking for something like that for how many years? So many years, right? So which is happening. That's a win for us. And the budget allocated for planning early works on North Gungahlin Health Centre facilities allocated for initial planning and early works. So there is some planning is happening. I hope they will continue allocating budget for completion of that work. Budget committed for planning and early work for new emergency service station in Casey. How long they've been talking about it, right? That's another thing which we've been pushing for. So that's happening. So that's a win for us. And the other thing, the local amenities, the new playground that's happening, at Amuru shops, funding allocated for installation, which is great. Upgrades at Palmerston shop, budget committed for improvements. Sports facilities, upgrades in Bonnet, Gungahlin, Harris, and funding allocated for enhancement. tailored district playing fields, budget committed for new playing fields, lighting and modern sports pavilion. So it all seems to be budget being allocated for initial kickoff or some kind of things, which is great. But we hope this is going to continue. The budget's going to be allocated because some of the things we've been fighting hard for decades. So if you're around or if you've been involved in all these things, the emergency service station in Casey, like that's been forever. So we are really, looking forward for these projects to kick off, and that's what I'm going back. Like whatever we work together in this forum, we can make someone to do it for us. So it's so important for us as a community to come together and work together and achieve these results with the support of the local MLAs. So we are looking forward for the expected completion of Gungahlin Community Centre and Gungahlin Tennis Facility next year. So that's all going to happen. So these are some of the things happened this year, which is great. And thank you, Susan Orr and Michael Pedersen, for giving us an update. And it's also it shows the hard work that community has put into it to bring it across. So we got also an update from James Milligan, MLA. So he was talking about the hot chocolate community event. So James Milligan is famous for his chocolate engagement. So he's been doing a lot of engagement around the Ford, Casey and Gungahlin, Bonner and Taylor. And he said he's been working with them and identifying the issues. So some of the things he highlighted, one of them was advocacy for local business. This has happened, in the London circuit in light of the light rail construction. So he moved a motion in the Legislative Assembly to support the business on the London circuit. So he wants to support, those business being impacted, and the motion received the unanimous support. It's great that our MLAs are working around what's happening outside Gungahlin, but also, it'd be great for our MLAs to, Gungahlin first. So I'm a kind of guy, Gungahlin first guy. So, you can work everything great, that's fine. But, I'm kind of a Gungahlin guy. So, let's focus more on Gungahlin, and, obviously that the benefit will flow around Canberra as well. So, which is great. So I hope James is going to work more in Gungahlin as well. And the one thing I liked about it is that he's working on he said he did an inquiry about Fix My Street, how old the system is, so that needs to be modernized, so which is great. I think we need to, in order to fix the street, you need to fix the IT system of it. So fix the street application needs to be fixed so that we can fix the street. Right. And so he's also talking about the repeal of the barbecue tax, so the public space remain available for non-commercial use. So great there. So we're looking forward for James to do more for Gungahlin next year. So we also send this invite to other MLAs. So I think Andrew, you are here. So do you want to take some time to give us an update? On what you've been working on to make Gungahlin great.
So I'm just trying to find my notes. Sorry, just looking for. All right, thank you, Henley. Thank you all from the Gungahlin Community Council. Can I say congratulations on some great achievements for the council for this year, particularly that membership survey. That is a fantastic source of data which will help drive not just the council's work over the next few years, but also the work of the representatives as well. So it's really appreciated what you've done in that regard. I haven't recorded everything I've done this year, like the others have done. I just simply went through some of the things I've done recently, since I probably last appeared here at one of the Gungahlin Community Council meetings. and wanted to give you a bit of an update on some of the things I've learnt or done along the way. So firstly, the Gungahlin Cinema, the perennial problem, which we now know they're officially in breach of their conditions of their title. Unfortunately, the ACT government doesn't actually pursue regulatory action for the first 4 years that they are in breach. That is something I don't necessarily agree with, which I'm still working on. So that is why there's been no regulatory action taken against the owner of that particular site. I've also been liaising with the Minister in terms of the noise standards in the Gungahlin Entertainment Precinct, which is also an issue which is affecting the Gungahlin 2030 project, which is just on the other side of Flemington Road. The issue there being when the government went out and consulted about noise standards, they received lots of feedback about the ones that would apply in Civic, but they didn't receive a lot of feedback from Gungahlin. So hence they prioritised their work on the Civic noise standards and have left the town centre noise standards to one side. I've been advocating for them to pick up that piece of work because without that gives no certainty to developers here in Gungahlin as to what are they aiming at in terms of a particular noise standard. So I've been looking at that. Huddy Street Christmas lights, where it's a perennial problem where we want to encourage the community events of that nature and people come together, and that's fantastic. We also need to mitigate some of the impacts on other residents who, let's just say, might not share the Christmas spirit to the same extent. And so part of that has been liaising with the government to make sure they actually start communicating more effectively and reach out in a more proactive manner so they don't come across like the Christmas Grinch who's trying to close down an event with overzealous regulation. The bike storage petition, which I ran this year for a location next to the light rail head. The government came back saying they're undertaking a site assessment and they will be consulting with the community about that one. Future construction, though, will be, however, dependent on a budget decision down the track. So let's just say, given the what Henley described as the long lead times that happens where something may have been committed to or had a scoping design study done or budget actually allocated, to the point where you actually see the final thing happen is quite a lengthy one, so I'll just have to keep pushing that one. I've also been pushing for a youth foyer. If you're not aware, we've got Common Ground, which is a great facility to help people who may be homeless in this region be able to find secure accommodation and get back on their feet. A youth foyer is very similar, but it has wraparound services and it's really designed for young people and so under the age of 18. And it's a way to be able to assist them get back on their feet, get re-engaged with learning. And it's a burgeoning need we actually have here in Gungahlin because we have a high degree of a young population here. And so we're starting to see the requirement there. Also been dealing with quite a few apartment complexes are starting to have issues in terms of stratas accessing affordable insurance. And that's starting to become a real challenge for them. So I've been advocating on their behalf. Part of the problem there is in terms of you've got strata managers and you've got insurance brokers who are all charging commissions along the way, which make this insurance, which is already quite unaffordable, even worse. So we've been looking at how can we bring in regulation to remove some of those middle people who aren't adding a lot of value to the process or to the product, and be able to bring that down to its manageable level for strata so they don't have to continually raise their strata fees that they're doing. Other things we've sort of been looking at or working at in my office, bus services. So you will see there have been announcements in terms of with the Commonwealth Avenue bridge closures, it's going to have a significant impact across the entire bus network. Fortunately, here in Gungahlin, we've been sheltered from most of that because a lot of our bus services don't actually cross Commonwealth Avenue Bridge. That's a saving for us, but it's been impacting quite a lot of other areas. Libraries, really proud of the work we've done to shine a light in terms of ACT libraries. They really fell into a hole where there were unplanned closures on a regular basis. They were suffering extreme staffing issues within the libraries. There was a lot of stress, a lot of unplanned absences, a lot of people unable to take leave. They do seem to be turning a corner and improving, which is really good to see. Not saying they're back up to where we would like to see them just yet, but they're at least keeping their doors open. They've got a plan. They're starting to work through that with staff, which is really good to see. You might have seen recently the stats have laid bare just how badly underserviced the Gungahlin region is in terms of sports and recreational facilities. I know this is of no new news to the Gungahlin Community Council, and I was also seeing quite clearly in the stats on the survey, but it did serve to sort of highlight that point and continue the importance of advocacy on that one. And also just recently in the past week is Gungahlin is the only district where tree canopy cover, so this is the percentage of land that's actually covered by tree canopy, is the only district in Canberra where it increased. Every other district went in reverse. And so we'll be sort of looking at the reasons, well, why did that happen? But we can't rest on our laurels on Gungahlin because we still have lots of areas which still lack decent tree canopy cover, which increases the urban heat island effect and makes it very uncomfortable for residents. Apart from that, it's pretty much continuation of the status quo. I will note, I also do a lot of hot chocolate stores, so James Milligan's not the only one in town who's doing that. I'm changing over to iced lemonade now that we're in the summer season, so please keep an eye on my social media. You're more than welcome to come on down, have a free iced lemonade, or just have a chat with me about any issues that you may have. So I suppose that's a very quick synopsis. Did you have any questions or anything that you would like me to talk about?
Speak up so everybody can hear me. So recently I went to the pop-up for Gungahlin East, and when I went to the last pop-up they had, I found some of the times that they had those pop-ups were during the day as well, so it makes it really difficult for people that actually work to actually attend some of those pop-ups. But when I went to that most recent pop-up, all I can see really that was open for consultation and debate was in relation to Linear Park. So they're talking about some adjustments at the margins there about what the linear park will look like. And you mentioned about libraries. There was some talk in relation to moving the library that exists within Gungahlin to potentially Gungahlin East. I did, because at the time the pop-up was in the library in Gungahlin, and I mentioned what potentially might be happening with the existing library that's there, and seeing where that potentially might go. There was no answer to that. The other thing that we spoke about on the map was the parking, so the park and ride that's there. So mentioning about the fact that that park and ride in the future won't be there, which the community I don't think really has any idea that that land is not reserved for parking.
You're referring to the one next to the community centre?
Yes, the one next to there. So if the government's really serious about people taking public transport, I don't know what's going to happen considering that car park is chock-a-block full during the day, about where people are then going to park if they want to be able to make use of public transport. So on the one hand, we're talking about wanting people to use more public transport, but we're also not making sure that a park and ride in the town centre is stable for the future because that land is going to be sold off. So what are your thoughts in relation to that?
All right, I'll start with the car parking first. That particular block of land, as far as I understand it, is when it is sold, it will have the condition that it's required to provide in the basement a level of parking. Now, I'm not saying it's going to be the same as what is currently provided on the surface level gravel car park. I can get the exact number that is meant to be in that condition of sale, so that will still be available for community use as a park and ride. But yes, I agree with you in terms of as we build out Gungahlin and get more residents here, more traffic coming through here, what are we going to do in terms of transport issues? Where will they park, or how will they catch a bus in, or will they be able to ride their bike in or walk, noting that we have an issue in terms of some of the active travel connections to the town centre aren't fully complete, so we need to work on that. In terms of the library, yes, I'd heard the same thing in terms of the government hasn't officially announced it, but the intent is at some point they will be looking to move that library from the Gungahlin College site up to the Linear Park. And so we'll have to see about that and ask questions along the way. I think it's one of those cases the government won't officially confirm it until they're actually ready to officially confirm it, whilst I keep hearing the words behind the scenes that they're still looking at it. The linear park, yeah, I'm disappointed whenever they do their, let's say, they tick the box consultation exercises where they can say we did 3 pop-ups and did a your say and sort of thing, which is concentrated on the linear park, which is only a small section of Gungahlin Town Centre East. Whilst it's important to have a really good green space facility there, given the number of people are going to be using it, not necessarily the main game in my eyes as to what we need to achieve out of Gungahlin Town Centre East. I am still pushing to try and get more employment, more business opportunities there, so that people aren't having to leave the Gungahlin district every single morning to commute across the city to work. That is something I've not had success up to date. It doesn't mean I won't keep pushing that with the Chief Minister, who tends to adopt a very, let's say, a centralised approach to economic development, focusing on the city of Canberra, and is not willing to do much for the town centres in terms of encouraging employment.
I did ask in relation to what concrete measures they've taken in order to preserve commercial space in that area, especially on the backing of the recommendations that came from the inquiry that we had in relation to the office core, as it used to be called and is now called Gungahlin East. There was no real concrete determination as to sort of the definitions of mixed use and what conditions could be put in there in order to preserve that for the basis of employment. They didn't seem to really understand the concepts associated with that, which I thought that in the pop-up, I really wanted them to have a firm understanding of it, considering that Gungahlin East, that was one of the core sort of recommendations that came from it. They seem to be unaware of it or unwilling to commit to anything in relation to the preservation of it. They say that they're still too early at this stage, but we're sort of getting to this pointy end where some legislation is really going to be put into place by the SLA in the sale of the land and the conditions associated with those blocks. So I think the Gungahlin Community Council needs something concrete at this point about, after they've had the community consultations, about what's actually going to happen there, what the character of it's going to look like. They keep talking about the fact that it's place-based approach to it, but I haven't really seen anything apart from just some adjustments at the edges there. So it'd be nice to see sort of something talked to the Gungahlin Community Council and the Legislative Assembly about trying to address those concerns.
Yeah, totally agree. We've settled the planning questions in terms of what the zoning will be, but there is still a lot of within the government control in terms of what actually happens with those sites as part of the development. Do they go what is the easy path for government, which is mixed use, one single level, small coffee shop retail at the bottom, topped with 18 stories of residential, because that's the highest value that will generate for developers? Or is the government actually willing to ensure that we do get some genuine employment generating space?
I did talk about the concept of a prospectus that could be generated in order to potentially attract business, rather than the red herring, as I call it, of just concentrating solely on government departments, federal government departments. There's a need in the community for more retail. There's a need in the community for a real broader approach to appealing to businesses that go there. But we haven't seen anything from the Chief Minister's office, and I think that was an agreement at one stage in relation to what could be done there to try and broaden the appeal beyond federal government departments. We also spoke to Andrew Lee in relation to this as well, Gungahlin East, as to what the federal government could do. At the Leaders Forum for the federal government, there was an agreement from him that he would look into that quite seriously about a prospectus, about how we can pitch it to business as well. So those are a couple of different angles we've tried to chase up. It'd be good to have something from the ACT government seriously looking into that as well.
Yeah.
That'd be helpful.
The ACT government did develop a prospectus, I think it was back in about 2023, following on from one of my motions. Unfortunately, it's one of those things where they did it to say they've done it. But unfortunately, how hard was that actually sold is what I would question, and how hard did they...
Was it just aimed at federal government departments, or...?
No, it was aimed for both private business and also government departments.
Okay.
It just didn't seem to be strongly pushed or have any traction or take up. And this is where I sort of need to keep working on the Chief Minister and his office in terms of, if that doesn't work, what are we going to do for these town centres to actually generate employment? The old days of picking up a federal government department and plonking them down, obviously, is no longer possible. The prospectus obviously hasn't worked. What other levers do we have actually within our power to keep on encouraging that?
Do we know whether the police station is going to be built anytime soon, whether there's any movement on that at all?
So from my understanding, RFS and the SES have moved, but we're now waiting for the KC Emergency Services Centre to actually be built. They've only allocated the budget to do the design phase, so they haven't even allocated the budget to do construction. So therefore, we're probably looking at a couple of years in terms of at least until the movement out of those other elements, which frees up all the space for the police in what is currently the Joint Emergency Services Centre.
And have they spoken about a bus to Tuggeranong?
I was waiting for Henley to mention that. Very pertinent also because with those problems on Commonwealth Avenue Bridge, we were sort of looking at, well, where can we start sending the buses so they're not going to get caught in that gridlock? And I deliberately quizzed the Transport Canberra in terms of the utilisation of the Tuggeranong Parkway. And there was firstly, one, the traffic's going to get even worse there, so they were afraid of having their buses stuck on the gridlock that is called the Tuggeranong Parkway. Two, there was very much a reluctance from them to even conceive moving away from their extant bus routes, which go through the inner south, cross the Commonwealth Avenue Bridge and then go out towards Belconnen, most of them. So keep pushing it, and unfortunately, until the Bendubi Street extension is completed, and that's the bit that goes from Belconnen Town Centre down towards the Molonglo Town Centre. Until that is actually developed, they're not willing to consider any buses going up and down the Tuggeranong Parkway, which impacts how you get a bus from Gungahlin down to Tuggeranong.
Thanks, Andrew. I think, even before your days as an MLA, maybe a decade or so, right? So we've been fighting for this one. We'll still push it, and the data is evident, and that's what the survey says.
The survey called for it. Yep.
So we will do that. And it's a shame that at one stage we're going to say, oh, we're going to go net zero, get rid of all the gas, and do all this, unbelievable things. And one stage then you say, oh, we're not going to give you the bus, kind of thing, right? So I think you're right. So we need to team up and push it for this. The bus public service, the public bus is kind of it's an essential. It's not like a privilege. It's it's kind of an essential thing. It's like everyone needs to do that, and everyone should be able to catch it. So we will continue to push that. I just want to touch base on the Christmas lights and with Ford, and it's a shame that government just waited until at the last minute and come up with all these red tapes. So it's really, nothing is happening in Gungahlin, right? Either you support someone doing something, or either you run a show, right? So if you can't do both, then I think probably we should just keep them out shut. But, with the Christmas spirit and all this community, because it's a huge event, and every year, families goes there, and it's kind of a vibrant, and it's all very, it's kind of an attraction. So, and government should have leveraged something on that, and they should have go ahead and help them in whatever the means that they could. So, it'd be good if the local MLAs can see and support the local community to see how they can pass the barrier, and it's Christmas, right? So so
it absolutely is, and I think a lot of it was just in terms of poor communication and poor working with the residents of Huddy Street to actually explain how they can run the event in a way that's not going to impact their neighbours, in a way that the community can all enjoy. So it was more just pushing for the Minister in their office just to communicate a bit more effectively to the organisers and find a way through that they can do that. I would want to put in one pitch in for the Celebrate Gungahlin Festival, which is coming up, I believe, on the 21st of March, which is currently going through the planning at the moment. So that's a good opportunity as well for another community event where I'm sure the Community Council would love to get involved, and I'm also looking to get involved and would love to see everyone in the community turn out for that one.
On the note, thank you, Hendrik.
Thank you.
Appreciate that.
Sorry, I'm going to leave you. Not the kids.
No, all good, thank you. All right. So I think we're going to just get into the AGM bit. So first, before we get into the AGM, we have to the meeting minutes for the last year AGM. So we need to pass it and second them as well. So I'll put the last year AGM meeting minutes. So Darren, you want to pass it? Who wants to second it? Yep. Thank you. So we're done with that. So now let me go on to the next bit, which is the Treasurer's report. I'd like to hand over to Michael, our Treasurer. Thank you, Michael, for all your hard work. So we'll talk about you more in a bit.
No worries. So I know everyone's here for the internal finances of the GCC. This is the main draw of this meeting, so I'll try to keep this quick. I'll just check how.
So there's a report in the PDF. So not in
Okay, so just open it. Okay, I'm happy to report that our funding application for the 25-26 year has been accepted by the ACC government. This has meant that our just the balance, just either one. So that has meant that our financial situation is quite good. Our only major expense in the past year was for the federal election forum, which we had some catering. I'm not sure if anyone in the room attended, but it was quite good catering from this venue here. And that leaves our current balance at just under 40,000. So we're going to be using some of that amount to kickstart the business forum with the intent that once the forum is established and businesses know that they can go there and meet other community leaders, there might be some intention for them to sponsor the event. We will have to front the cost for the first one though. Other than that, since we do have quite a significant amount of funding, we're planning to sponsor some community events. So if anyone has any events that they would like to run in Gungahlin, please reach out to the Community Council and see what we can do to assist you with getting that set up. And that's pretty much the end of our financial report. If anyone has any questions. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Michael. I appreciate all your work. As we commence the AGM, so the first thing we do is dissolve all the roles. Usually the public officer needs to do it, but at the moment we still haven't got the public officer, so I cannot do it. So we dissolve all the positions now, and then I just want to firstly I want to say the outgoing members. Our wonderful treasurer, Michael. Thank you so much, Michael, for all your hard work you've done, and in the short span how you operated and helped us in every single way. So let's give it for Michael. Thank you. And thank you, Sharia, for being part of the Community Council as well, and we thank you for all your help and support as well. Thank you so much. So we, as you know, with the last public meeting, we posted it on the social media as well as on the website, for the new nomination. So then we received the nomination, and I declare the new committee, the newly elected committee, myself, Henley Samuel, President, and Ralid Sir, Vice President, Shah Julani, Secretary, Jizan Ahmed Said, Treasurer, Darren Marks, Committee Member, Mithun Alexander, Committee Member, Imanshu Pradhan, Committee Member, and we do have one more person. Apologies, we missed it somehow. Malcolm Mahan. So thank you, Malcolm. So let's congratulate the newly elected members. So thank you so much. So thank you for being part of this, and this means it comes with a responsibility as well. So we want you to bring your expertise and work along, and we want to achieve more, and we got a lot of plan to do for the next year. So I just want to thank you so much for the continuing members. You are an asset, and your expertise are really appreciated. So thank you so much. So the next one, we want to talk about the Gungahlin Community Carol. So it was one of the events that GCC going to support and be part of it. So I'm going to invite Julie and Ricky and the team to come and talk about what's happening and what this event is about and where it's happening, how community can be involved with it, and what's happening for kids. So all those things. Yeah. Without further ado, Julie and Ricky, thank you.
Do I speak into this or this? Just hold it.
Yes, I think. We're live, I think.
Yes. Hello everybody, I'm Julie, Ricky. It's great to be here and we just want to tell you a little bit about the community event that we have coming up, the Gungahlin Christmas Carols. Just to give you a little bit of my background, I've only been in Gungahlin 2 years. My husband and I moved down from Mackay in Queensland. And some people might say that's crazy, but can I say that we love it here and we love Gungahlin. And one of the things that we really enjoy, it is so multicultural and we walk around and we're just constantly seeing people from different places and hearing different languages and we love that. A few of the community that we share things in common. Such with Ricky, and Christmas is coming and it's such a wonderful, hopeful festival, and it's a time to bring people together and to sort of just be joyful. I have sat in a couple of these, we talk about crime, we talk about things going wrong, so I was just really motivated to bring to Gungahlin another opportunity to be joyful and be hopeful. So the Christmas festive spirit is certainly what that is about. So on the 20th of December, we're going to have this festival. It has a number of different events, particularly focused on children. There's face painting, and a jumping castle and a reptile, display. And we're going to have carols by a couple of different bands, and there's going to be a couple of skits, and just a joyful thing overall. So we just got together sort of more last minute. We hope it goes well so that next year, we can sort of make it even broader. So really with having how do you celebrate Christmas in Australia, being outdoors, barbecue, cool drinks, throwing a cricket ball. We haven't thought about bringing a cricket ball anyway. We don't need a permit for a cricket ball. So, that's what we're on about. So really bringing community together, knowing that there's a lot of different cultures, some cultures that wouldn't really celebrate Christmas, but it's something that is definitely around everywhere. So come along, let's see what it's all about. Ricky, would you like to comment?
Not much to say, but I just want to thank GCC for supporting this event.
Yes.
That's another important thing, and I should say, I think she said most of everything. With different communities, Indian communities are part of the organizing team. So unfortunately, not unfortunately, but we've chosen to come and represent the rest of us. So we have the Samoan community as well, they come in as well. They're part of the team here, and the Africans as well. So been chosen to just two of us to come and represent everyone by place. The event is for everybody, and she said the kids mostly and the family actually is the most important thing, that everyone have to come together and we share that joy. I think that's it. Thank you so much.
Yes. So something we really need to work on more for next year is advertising. So we haven't done a lot. Now, should you feel led, we would love you to take a couple of these and show them to your friends so that we can really bring Gungahlin together for this joyful event.
Absolutely.
Are there any questions? Thank you.
Thank you so much, Julie and Ricky. That's great. And this is what we're talking about, the community coming together and, you know.
What's the location of it?
Great. So we should have told. So the location of this in the Arabi Pond Rotunda. So that's the location. It's going to be on December 20th, so which is a Saturday, and it's at 4:30 p.m. onwards. So it's in Arabi Pond Rotunda, 20. So we can put we can share the poster in the Facebook as well. So it's on 20th Saturday, perfect time for families to come out, 4:30 p.m. And I think the team was looking and almost booked a petting zoo, but unfortunately, we can't have a petting zoo there. So we've been, they've been told that you can't put this because the grass is around and all those things. So that it was booked. Yeah, it would have been great for the kids, like a petting zoo and reptiles. So the reptile is happening, face paint is happening, and jumping castle is happening, carols and all those things are happening. But So, but I think what you guys done as coming together as a different groups and doing this is a great thing. I hope this will be continued every year and it's become a bigger event. And it's great. So we will also share those events poster in our Facebook as well. So please come along and support the community events. And if you know families with kids, please make sure you share it with them as well. Any other thing before we wind up? All right. I think that brings the end of this one. Let me just quickly check if there are any slides left. Yeah, no. Thank you, slide. All right. Perfect. All right. Thank you so much, everyone. We really appreciate and congratulations again to all the new, the new members and also continuing member. And thank you, Michael and Sharia, for your support last year, and especially you, Michael, because you've been doing all the treasury work as well. So thank you so much. And this is the last meeting. So if you want to come and say good day to Gungahlin Community Council people, we will be there in the Gungahlin carols at Arabi Pond Rotunda. So we'll be there as well. So come along and have a wonderful, merry, blessed Christmas and Happy New Year. And we will see you next year. Until then, signing off, Henley. God bless.